Welcome everybody to our May the 4th KA Community Livestream. I'm Mrs. Quirk. I am joined by Mrs. Bray, Mrs. Cobb, and Mrs. Darth Pieper because it's May the 4th. Yeah, don't be intimidated by Darth Pieper. Darth Pieper is our friend here in the Karate America community and will be joining us for as long as she's able to breathe comfortably on the live stream. So we have a great live stream planned tonight. We're going to be talking to kick off Mother's Day month. We're going to be talking all things moms, Karate America moms, martial arts moms, and what that journey has meant to some of our very favorite moms in our KA community. And it being Star Wars Day, May the 4th, we also have some pretty fun things planned for you guys. One of them is Mrs. Darth Pieper there, and some other things later. We're going to have some trivia. We're going to have some Star Wars trivia. So get your Star Wars thinking caps going, because later on in the stream, we are going to be having some fun with that. Oh, Mrs. Pieper, welcome back.
Hello. I didn't last very long.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So before we get started with our stream, we will get down to some housekeeping. So if you're joining us from our private Facebook group page, go ahead and follow above us. Should be in the little comments. There should be some instructions to go ahead and verify through StreamYard. That's the platform that we stream through. That way, when you leave us a comment, you don't come up as an anonymous Facebook user. We can actually see your name and address you in the comments. And we really, really welcome your comments, your questions, your emojis throughout the night. So please keep them coming for our guests tonight. If you are on YouTube, same thing. You should already be verified if you're in through your YouTube account. Most importantly, on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We hit our goal for 130 subscribers in the month of April. It's now May. Yay! It's now May. We would love to see what we can do. I'm thinking 150 in the month of May. A couple of my team members said, no, that's way too low. We can do better. So let's see what we can do. But our announcements, let's get to our announcements first. Coming up soon, we got black belt graduation, May 22nd. If you are not quite sure where how your student, your family fits in, make sure that you follow up with your team at the academy. Ask your front desk staff, send an email, message us on Facebook, ask your instructors, check out information on the KA app, and get all ready for an amazing, we have a twice a year black belt graduation ceremony. It's spectacular. We're really looking forward to this one. We have our spring merchandise sale, which is on right now. So we have our tie-dyed Karate America t-shirts. You can get a rainbow, you can get a blue, you can get a pink neon, but the sale ends Friday. Mr. Hansen is closing out the orders Friday of this week, which I want to say is the 7th, I think, of May, is going to be the very, very final day to place that order on the KA app. If you have any questions at all, please see your team. Same thing, call, email, stop at the front desk, send us a message on Facebook, and we will figure out how to get your KA t-shirt to you for summer 2021. We still have some spots left for summer camp at our Brookfield location, so make sure that if you are not, if your child isn't already registered, that you get all registered for camp. And we have already somebody from YouTube saying hello. We have Mr. Quirk saying, love the Princess Leia hair. Mrs. Cobb, rocking it already.
Awesome.
Yeah. Give some thumbs up emojis if you love Mrs. Cobb's Princess Leia hair. Her Princess Leia hair that she did for the night. How smart is she? How smart is she? All right. Well,
it's hard to tell.
What's that?
It's hard to tell with my beautiful dark hair.
You're all Princess Leia up for the night. Awesome. I love it. Well, great. So thanks for joining us, everybody, on the stream tonight. So for those of you who don't know, I know we already had Mrs. Cobb on as a guest. Mrs. Pieper, we'll start with you since you are in my top corner there. What's your connection to the Karate America community? What's your story and your family story with Karate America?
Our story is a great one. We moved to this part of the state about 12 years ago. And at that time, I had told the 3 kids, I said, you can do something that you've always wanted to do or buy something you've always wanted. Took a chance, right? Well, lo and behold, Mr. Pieper wanted karate. And so my husband, Mr. Pieper, was walking in Ruby Isle one day and said, hey, there's Karate America. So that's how that all started. Derek,
that's awesome. So Mr. Pieper actually, why do you have any? Had he expressed interest in that before, or was this a brand new thing when you guys moved here? Or
he did express interest, but where we were at, there just wasn't anything that was comparable to what we were looking for.
Okay.
So once we got here, that was an aha moment for him. He's like, yeah, we're on this. So here we are.
Did you have any misgivings at all? Because I know sometimes we hear about moms and dads being like, I don't want fighting or violence or something like that, you know, that's sometimes associated with martial arts. Did you have any of those kind of tickling you whenever you wanted to sign him up?
I did not. And truth be told, I grew up with 5 brothers. So I'm like, hey, bring it on. He's got to defend himself. I was okay with that. So no, I didn't have any second thoughts.
Nice. And so you've been with us then since what year?
It was 2008.
years ago?
It was 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the rest of the story then is that I had moved here for my work, and I recognized the leadership and the all the things that are taught that could apply to my work environment. So I brought in my team, and Mr. Cork did a leadership little seminar for them. And then at the time, Mrs. Velsky was there, and she just took the liberty to present me with my white uniform, saying, "You're now in karate."
Funny how that happens sometimes.
Yes, and so I had no choice but to join, and life got in the way. So eventually, I got up to my blue stripe.
Yeah, I think you're blue stripe, right?
Yeah, blue stripe, and then a few things happened with my health, and then I started traveling a lot for work, and one thing after another. But I do believe Mr. Peeper will convince me to get back into it as soon as possible.
I think so too. I think we'll see you back out on the floor someday. You got it in your blood now.
I do.
And your daughter, Miss Peeper, actually worked in our office at Karate America Brookfield, and your whole family at one point was training. So you guys were a whole team.
We all made it in on the mat, and like you said, Ms. Peeper, then she's called Mrs. Miller, but yeah, she worked for Brookfield, and then she did some time up in Menominee Falls as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You got quite the Karate America connection. Well, thank you for that. What about you, Mrs. Bray? For those of us who anybody watching that doesn't know your story, first of all, you are our corporate office manager right now with the Karate America organization. You're a really key member of our team. What was your story with Karate America? How'd you find out about us? What was that like?
Sure. So it was also 2008, Mrs. Peeper. It was a great year. I had gone to one of the kids' nights at the zoo with my son and a friend of his, and the friend said, like, I want to go see this karate demo. I got to see this. It's over in the Primate House at 7 p.m. We got to go do this. So I said, sure, we'll go check that out. That'd be great. And 3 minutes into the very dynamic demonstration, my son was like into it and focused and just having a great time. And he got to spin the wheel.
Yeah. We lost Mrs. Bray for a second. We do have this from Mr. Peeper saying, "Aw, I love you, Mom."
Aww. Mr. Peeper. Back at ya.
Well, we've lost Mrs. Bray. Looks like she's having a little issue with her connection. So we do have a comment here from Ms. Kanyeski. That's how I started a white uniform from Mrs. Velsky at my sister's request. How awesome is that? We've had so many people changing lives and getting their lives changed over the years. And it's really amazing to me, to your point, Mrs. Peeper, how many people don't really think about it, but when that uniform is placed in the hands, it's like, well, now what's standing in my way? Now I got the stuff. Now maybe I'll go out on the floor, and we're so glad you did. So hopefully Mrs. Bray will jump back in with us here. Now, what about you, Mrs. Cobb? I know you've been on the stream before, but for those of us watching that didn't hear the first time around, what's your story with how you found Karate America?
Well, my two oldest kids were in grade school, and they had a family fun night. And karate was there, did some demonstrations, and there was an auction items. So you could auction/silent auction for a certain amount of money and get white uniforms. So I got 2 for those, the oldest kids. Mm-hmm. They started it, loved it. Mrs. Velsky gave me a uniform.
Got you guys all in.
When are you coming? When are you coming? And I did. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I do remember that first night. I was really, really scared.
Yeah.
Piped, dressed, ready in the car, and I thought, what am I doing? Around and went back home, but I didn't. And best decision of my life to stay there. I love it.
Yeah. What about you, Mrs. Peeper? Were you nervous your first night coming out as a student, or?
I was nervous because Derek was a student, and I didn't want to embarrass him. So,
but you did great.
I just dug in like I do with most things in life, and just took it as it came, and very thankful that I did. I know later on, Mrs. Cobb and I were able to do body combat together.
Yes.
She was our instructor. Fantastic experience. Oh, I do wish that we could get back to that. That was great.
Well, and then we were partners for how many classes too?
We were, yes.
It was wonderful. It's great. I was thinking over the weekend, moms don't do enough stuff with other moms. We're so involved in our kids' lives that we just get out of touch. And karate, boy, awesome experience to do together with other
It was.
ladies.
Yeah.
Let us know in the
And
comments.
friendship.
Let us know in the comments if you are maybe a parent, or I think it's over 85% of our adult students are actually karate parents, and people oftentimes are really surprised to hear that. I think there's a different sort of like story created about what the average adult martial arts students is like, but it's 85, sometimes between 85 and 90% of our students are parents and adult family members of our kids' students. So if you are an adult who has taken classes or who is in classes and who's really enjoying the connection and the relationships that you're building in karate, let us know about it in the comment. Let us know if that resonates with you as well. And I know we've talked on another episode, I think that it's really hard, it's really difficult for adults to find places to connect in our society that's not necessarily like with the kids or at work. Sometimes that's a little bit challenging to do. And I think that, I don't know about your experience, it sounds like it's the same, but it provides a great avenue to meet and connect with people who otherwise you wouldn't.
Absolutely. One of the big things is you're already there. So, when your children are little and just starting out, you want to watch them and be with them as much as possible. And you're there already. And then you see and you get inspired by others already doing it. And so that's very helpful.
Yep. And Mrs. Deacon is sharing mom does mom stuff that also connects to what the kids are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the experience like, Mrs. Pieper, for you actually doing the same things that your kids were doing on the floor? What was that like?
Well, it was amazing because I've always been one, as the kids were growing up, to get in, not so much even involved, but appreciate what my kids were doing, and really kind of be embracing what they were doing, I guess is a better way to put it. So by getting into it, I was really embracing it, right? So we could speak the same language, we could talk the same talk, that sort of thing. So it was great. It was an amazing experience.
Well, and nice to do something together as family, the same thing, but you also had that individual time on the floor that you were doing something for you as well. At least I experienced that. I thought that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, everybody. The Minoc landed on my router, so I was out for a little bit.
Nice to have you back with us, Mrs. Bray. We were concerned, but I'm glad that you rallied. So it's good to have you back. And we got cut off like maybe 20 seconds into your story. So please go back and start from the beginning and tell us your story, how you discovered Karate America. We got to the part where Mr. Bray, at that time a little kiddo, was super focused in the primate house with the demo. That's where we left off.
A cliffhanger. I left you on a cliffhanger. So he got to spin the wheel. He won some free lessons. We came in for his private lesson in the little tiny room in the front of Brookfield at the time with the mirrored wall there. And he absolutely loved it. His friend opted out, the one that had wanted to see the demo in the beginning. And
that friend's sorry today.
Yes. And we stayed, and we have been a part of it ever since. My daughter did train for a while too. I think she got up to purple belt. And I also trained for just a short time, because I also had Mrs. Velsky say, okay, you need to train. So I got to gold belt.
That's awesome. You guys all need to have like a Mrs. Velsky patch on your uniforms or something to like commemorate that she was the one that welcomed you all and brought you all in. That's so awesome. Well, Mr. Quirk is actually bringing up a good point here in the comments, and it brings me to, I was going to announce this a little bit later, but since you're all talking about, the benefits of training as adults, we actually have an amazing sort of event and promotion going. So Mother's Day, obviously in May, Father's Day in June, and talking about it as a team, Mr. Hansen came up with a great promotion, and this is awesome. We've never done it before, but we're going to be doing it here really, really soon. Let me get to this little thing. So everybody who's listening and watching, check this out. We have adults train free at any Karate America location. So this could be Brookfield, this could be Pewaukee, this could be Karate America Worldwide. Adults train free starting May 10th through June 18th. So we're doing this in honor of Mother's Day and Father's Day. We were talking about one of the big sort of the spirit of these holidays is for us to look at who have been these caretakers, role models, who've been leaders for us in our personal lives. And sometimes You know, for some families, that's a mom. Some families, it's an aunt, it's a grandma, it's a next door neighbor, it's a teacher, a coach, a pastor. It could be anybody, an older sibling, anybody who's been that role model for you in your life. We invite them to have you invite them to train absolutely free, no obligation at any Karate America facility for May 10th through June 18th. And then going over into June for the Father's Day, same thing. It could be a dad, an uncle, a godfather, a grandfather, anybody who's just been a role model for you. Invite them to train free and see how their life could possibly be changed from the gift of martial arts from May 10th through June 18th. So this is a really, really cool opportunity for any adult at all. If you are a Karate America student or family and you invite them and give them this invitation, letting them know what a role model and what an inspiration they've been for you in your life, then we want to give them that gift. So if you have more questions, which I hope you do, you can get your invitations at your Karate America Academy, Brookville, Pewaukee, or worldwide. If you have any questions, see the team. I'm sure that they would love to answer questions and get you started with that. But we thought that would be just a really fun, how to take the spirit of Mother's and Father's Day and just expand it and say, hey, you know, maybe you can be a 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old adult. If you have an adult in your life who's been a role model for you, you don't have to be a kid for this. Any of us can give this gift to somebody who's been a role model and an influence and have them train free May 10th through June 18th at Karate America. So what do you think of that, guys? I think that's a pretty cool promotion we have going.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So price isn't even an option. Just get them, be like Mrs. Belsky, be like some of our team, and just invite that person, give them that invitation and say, hey, what's stopping you? Come try. This is a great community. Come be a part of it. So yeah, Mr. Quirk, now is the time. New adults train free, Brookville, Pewaukee, and worldwide. Absolutely. We have from Mr. Jeski, I am currently a red belt, and the journey has been amazing to take with my daughter, Hannah. We've had a lot of fun sparring and training as a family.
Nice.
Do you guys have any sparring memories to share with your family? I don't know, Mrs. Cobb, were you ever sparring with Mike or anybody?
You know what? Nobody ever sparred with me.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but Mr. Quirk and I have sparred many times, and he always hits me on the top of the head. Oh,
he just gives you the Mr. Quirk pop.
He does. And it's like, oh, I put my guard down again. Darn it.
I'm feeling really kind of like bad, intimidating. There's nothing like being like boop on the head to get rid of that ego, huh?
And that was with his heel, right?
Right, the axe kick, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
And I never sparred, but I enjoyed watching Mrs. Cobb spar.
I think a lot of people
It was
did.
a great inspiration for that. She
Yeah,
did.
even when you said Mrs. Cobb, you didn't know what was happening or what you were doing. You looked like a rock star.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Quirk's a little concerned that people are thinking he beat you up, so he said maybe we should define hit. It was a light tap, right, Mrs. Cobb?
So my guard was supposed to be here, and I was supposed to be blocking, and I was so focused on trying to like absorb and see everything that was going on around Lord up ahead, and he always just went whoop, right on the top.
Yeah.
So no, it was a gentle tap. He was always in control, as always, Mr. Quirk.
Maybe you should wear the hair for protection next time.
Yeah. Tell them
There you go.
For your sides.
Yes.
Princess Leia grab. Yeah. There you go.
I'd have to put him on the top.
Maybe we should get like a quad Princess Leia. Like Mrs. Jury has something really cool to share. She said, yes, I made a promise to my son, Zach, that if he earned his red braid, I'd join karate. He failed his first test, so my second promise was my blue uniform and commitment to black belt. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Love that.
Nice
and
job.
Ms. Hansen is saying her mom started January 2019 and her dad started this past summer. We have the Hansens are now our students in the Worldwide Academy. They're up in Lake Tomahawk, Wisconsin, but they're able to train with us through our Worldwide team. So that's awesome. Look who we got on the stream tonight. We have one Miss Cloutier. Sparring Mr. Quirk on my black belt test was the best. Thank you, Miss Cloutier. I'm sure Mr. Quirk has fond memories of that as well. And it's good to have you on the stream, Miss Cloutier. You've inspired a lot of people over the years to get out on the floor too. So yeah, Mrs. Jerry saying rule number 1, hands up. You know, it sounds to me like maybe we should have like a sparring episode coming up with Mr. Quirk, talking about some sparring things and sharing some sparring stories. That would be a lot of fun. What do you guys think?
Very fun. That would be very fun.
Mr. Quirk's laughing like he has a choice about whether or not to be a guest. I'll just sign him up and I'll sign him up and just, you know, tell him what time to be on.
He knows who to listen to.
So we are talking about the journey of karate, parents, karate moms, right, on this episode. So does anything stand out? What stands out to you guys as, you know, as moms, as parents? I know we talk about this a lot, but there might be people listening who this is the first time they're hearing this. What were specifically, why did you sign up for karate for your child? Why Karate America? And then what are like the headlines of benefits that your child and your family got from our program?
I'll start. The big thing for our family really was the focus. And Mr. Pieper was a individual as a child that was a little unfocused. And so
he's got a lot going on.
Him, and yes, he does.
At all times.
He never stops. He never stops
stops.
ever. And he, as a child, that's the way he was as well. So to be able to see that he was learning how to rein that focus in and challenge himself and tunnel it and get it into more of a physical as well as a mental focus was just amazing for us. I don't know where we would honestly be without karate, specifically for Mr. Pieper.
That's fantastic. And now what's so cool is that he is changing other kids and other families' lives, right? Which is just such an exciting cycle to see.
Is. And that's so heartwarming. It really is.
I bet.
I can't say enough how he's grown and it continues to challenge himself and challenge others. And, you know, to hear kids come up to him and say, Mr. Pieper, it's like, oh, wait, that's my baby. And then with the whole worldwide focus during the pandemic and how that's growing, it just the sparkle in his eyes, you can tell that he is so focused on helping others get through whatever they're getting through and learning and growing and to give them that same focus and challenge. So that's honestly, that's the biggest thing that it's done for our family.
That's awesome. Well, I have a story created that some of what she's saying must resonate for you, Mrs. Bray.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, like, I can echo all of that.
Ditto, right?
I had a very active 6-year-old who needed a place for some focus and an energy outlet, just a way to burn off some of that energy that 6-year-olds often have. And he did. And to watch him come through the journey as long as he has and to stay dedicated and committed to it for as long as he has been such a gift and a blessing for him. And I agree with you, Mrs. Pieper. Like, I'm so grateful for having had this program for our family throughout their lives. It's been great.
Yeah. Now Mr. Bray has the kiddos coming up to him saying, Mr. Bray, that's Mr. Bray. And you're probably saying the same thing. Right?
Yes.
But it's so great to see him in that position, just like Mr. Pieper, just like a lot of our younger instructors and team members, to what I mean, they've shared the same thing with me. I can only imagine for you that feeling is just turned up so many notches. But it's great to hear even just a young person who's sometimes not even 20 years old yet saying, hey, this has changed my life. And this is who what I was before I discovered martial arts and Karate America. Now this is who I am. And I really want other people to have their lives change that same way. And I think that's our purpose, right? We inspire people to believe in themselves. And so it's really great that, you know, our instructors, I think it's easy to want to be the person who stands up in the spotlight and does the cool things. But the people who really commit and get through the instructor training and then take that on, I mean, it's a serving others and lifting others up position. And I think that's really awesome that our young people want to give back in that kind of way at such a young age. And to your point, Mrs. Bray, in such a consistent and committed way. You know, it's just great. But Mrs. Cobb, what about you? What benefits did you experience for your kids from the program? as a mom.
Part of the things that we saw, it was Mr. Quirk and Mr. Quirk that did the demonstration at the grade school when we started. And my son, Michael, at the time probably was like 7 or 8. And same thing, little difficulty focusing, little difficulty controlling that body, needing some place to put that energy. And Allie, my oldest one, she's not the most athletic child I have. So for her to do something just to coordinate her body and just learn how to control it better was just a great place to start. Different story with my kids is that my kids got involved in other, activities, but the things that they learned while they were at karate, whether it be with their bodies or being able to focus with their minds, I really think it has helped follow through with all of them. And Samantha, my youngest one, is now one of the little Inspire Camp people.
Yeah, she's Miss Cobb now. She's not Samantha anymore. She's Miss Cobb. She's one of our team. She's one of our team members. We're so excited to have her. Yes. And exactly, I mean, listen, somebody can be an instructor. They can be an after-school summer camp van driver. It's all purpose. It's all what they put into it. And I've heard the stories about some of the campers and families that Ms. Cobb has had a huge impact on. So she's doing the same thing. She's a leader in our academy for those families, those kids.
Yeah. She's a good gal. We're going to keep her.
Yeah. And then your story too is unique on the live stream tonight, Mrs. Cobb, because, your kids might not have continued, but you did. And you are one of our black belts.
Yep.
So I think that's a really, really amazing story and such a testament to just what an awesome person you are and your commitment. And what was that like for you? Was it a shift? Like, okay, so my kids aren't going to continue anymore, but I still am. Was that just like, well, obviously, or was that kind of a big decision for you to make, or what was that like?
I never even thought about that. I loved it so much I was going to continue. So it was a challenge. But, there were times and summers where I took off because I wanted to be involved in whatever the kids were doing. So if they were playing baseball or lacrosse or whatever, I still wanted to be there. And karate did give me a little bit of flexibility in order to do that. And then, come back and jump back in where I left off. So it took me a while to get my black belt, but I did it.
But you got it. I mean, you are in the minority of people. Most people who say I'm going to take a break. I mean, we just know this, the numbers over the years. Most people, whether it's kids or adults, statistically, everybody, like 95% of people say, well, I'm going to come back. And it's like over 90% just don't. So you're in the minority. I mean, kudos to you for putting in that hard work because, earning a black belt and going through candidate class and all that with full-time work and a family to raise, that's no joke. That's a lot of perseverance.
Well,
you're
and for
a tough lady.
That might be thinking about that, like thinking that, oh, I'm getting too old for that. I was not 30. So let me tell you, when I got my black belt, it's more like that mid 40s range.
Ish.
So that was only like a year ago then, right?
Right. Yeah. This is like 6 months ago, sure.
Right.
Well, if Mr. Quirk is listening, I know when he at the Middleton Karate America had a gentleman in his 60s with like 2 replaced knees and a replaced hip earn his black belt. And it was a really, really tough. He was a tough gentleman too. So yeah, I mean, some people, I think I was just talking, actually, it's funny you said that, Mrs. Cobb, because I was talking to somebody maybe about 4 months ago, and they were like in their early 40s, and they were like, oh, and I said something about like, you should come and try classes and invite them. And they kind of laughed like it was a joke, like they could in no possible way do it. And I don't think that people, I don't think that some adults understand what just sort of emotionally and like the vibe, it's such a welcoming place. This isn't like MMA cage fighting, and the environment is very sort of like everybody's welcome to try, just do what you can and see if you like it. And then I don't think, even for me, when I trained, just what great health benefits there were. Like the workout was incredible and flexibility increased and soreness went down and so all these benefits. I don't, you don't have to be like a 22-year-old, like CrossFit champion to come into our classes. I mean, it's for everybody, truly.
Well, and there is nothing more releasing than punching and kicking. Woo!
I still have bruises from you.
Mrs. Cobb's a bruiser.
You're right, though. It's that release. That
Yeah.
Stress
wonderful.
relief at the end of the day, because that's typically
Yeah.
when I took classes, was amazing. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have from Mrs. Deacon, she says, Mr. Pieper and Mr. Bray have had a major positive impact on my kids. It will be awesome if my kids become that for other students someday.
Oh,
That's great to hear. And Ms. Clutie is saying, all of you guys have amazing kids. It was such a privilege to watch them grow up at Karate America. Yep. So, and we were talking about some of the challenges, right? And some of the obstacles that people might be facing in training, but can you talk about, this is kind of I feel like it's a tough topic, but it's a real topic, right? When there are challenges with kids, families, training, that whole journey from no belt the whole way through black belt and beyond, and wherever that journey leads an individual. Can you talk about, were there ever challenges? Were there ever, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Hey, I don't want to go tonight, or this is too hard, or I don't like it anymore. Did any of you ever face that with any of your kids? And if you did, what was that like? What did you do to get through it? How'd you navigate it?
Yeah, I definitely had that with Mr. Bray. He, about middle school age is when his interest sort of declined, and it was tougher and tougher to get him to come. He just something about it just changed for him. Mm-hmm. And he worked very closely with Mr. Mealy at the time, and Mr. Mealy inspired him to keep going. And we just did it like on a 6 month by 6 month basis. So he just said, okay, we're just going to do this for 6 more months. And Mr. Mealy just kept saying, like, if after 6 months you're no longer wanting to do it, okay, we're going to do another 6 months and another 6 months. And Mr. Mealy was really great about sharing some of his own personal struggles when he was going through, and it resonated for Mr. Bray. And so, mm-hmm. So that was very much in purpose for Mr. Bray to have that type of mentoring at that moment. It was great.
Yeah. That is great.
Yeah, very similar. I don't remember the age, but Mr. Pieper went through the same type of thing where it was, I think I'm just going to take a break. So he did take I believe a few months off, and then eventually he was like, I do miss that. So got back in and got, I think it was Mr. Mealy, Mr. Quirk. Everybody was kind of rallying around just to let's just try this. Just do what you can, do what you want, that type of thing. And lo and behold, he's like, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I mean, that's literally how that went.
That's a turnaround.
Well, and I'm different in the fact that my kids did choose to go different directions. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? They've experienced, and the things that they've taken with them from this will stay with them the rest of their lives. So
yeah,
we're grateful for that.
Yeah. And your daughter, Miss Cobb, did come back to us in another way. So she might not be taking classes, but she's absolutely a huge part of our community, and, I don't train, and yet I'm part of the Karate America community. Mrs. Bray isn't training right now, and she's a huge part of our community. And so I think that that's another thing for, both adults and kids to remember is that there's different ways to be part of the community. I mean, of course, we are martial arts, we train. I do think that it's important for everybody, no drama, even if it's just get out and take a couple classes in a white uniform. I do think that it's really important to understand and feel through experience what that is like to go through classes, to go through the different belt levels. I do think that piece is important. However, if training doesn't deeply resonate with you, then it's okay, don't. However, please, I invite you to still be part of our community, because look at Ms. Cobb, and look at Mrs. Bray, and maybe even in some cases, look at me and Mrs. Pieper. There are ways that we can still inspire and change people's lives that isn't necessarily even through the actual, kicking and punching. Right. Mr. Quirk says karate, and this, I think this brings us back to, it's such an important part, this part about kids and people wanting to quit. And it's like, it's going to happen. It happens literally for everybody, like 99.9% of people, even the people, I love that you're talking about that, Mrs. Bray and Mrs. Pieper, because it's people who are like, no, Mr. Pieper wanted to quit karate, Mr. Bray, lost motivation. It's like, yeah, I got news for you. This happened. This is part of it, because we are human beings and kids are kids. And so we're going to go through different phases. We're going to be busy. We're going to have injuries, work, life, whatever. Just our normal ways that we feel about things is going to ebb and flow. But this program it's different. Right? We know that everybody wants to quit at some point, and this program is designed to, in a safe and healthy and really loving environment, to your points about people being motivated and just do what you can, this is what is like, I think it's so powerful for a young person. This is what it's like to want to quit something and not. Right. And I just, that is such magic for a young person, I think, or even an adult, but especially for a young person to learn at a young age. And then to look back and be like, do you remember when you wanted to quit karate? Well, this other thing, maybe it's a job or a relationship or whatever it might be. Stick with that too, because you can do it. You prove that you can do it. And I love that piece of our program. And so sometimes when I worked in the front office and people came up like, Johnny wants to quit, Katie wants to quit. It was like, great, not great that they want to quit, but like, yes, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Like, this is all part of it. And we're ready for this, and we can navigate this with you guys through this. And to your point, Mrs. Cobb, it's not everybody like it. I mean, we're not a cult. Like, you don't have to stick with us if you don't want to. It's okay. But we're going to keep inviting. I mean, to your point, we're going to keep reaching out. We're going to keep inviting. Be like, when you're ready, we're here. And there's no pressure and there's no judgment. But this is something truly that people do. I know people that do this well into their 70s and beyond at their own level. And this is something you can do for the rest of your life. So.
And I will say too that as Mr. Pieper was going through the different ranks and the different, realizing that he wanted to be an instructor, and he was growing that whole time just exponentially, because you could just see it in his eyes. Once he came back, he was ready to go, and you could still see how he was growing from a boy to a very mature instructor that was getting out and leading other students. And there were times when he would come home from a training session or instructor session, say, Mom, so-and-so told me that I need to do this, this, and this, and that didn't feel very good. I felt like I was not meeting their expectations. I said, so how are you going to step up to the plate and embrace that and do something about it? And, the next time he went, he did what he was supposed to do and how he was supposed to do it. And he got over the fact that somebody had, corrected him and was able to learn from that. So I continually see him. He's still growing. Oh
yeah. The accountability out of love is a big piece. And I love what you shared, Mrs. Pieper, because we even talk about how a lot of it as adults, it's like somebody gives me criticism or gives me feedback, and it's like it's one thing to talk about. I mean, almost everybody that I talk to is like, oh yeah, I love feedback, I love accountability, love it, it's great, awesome. And then it actually happens, and it's like it's a little.
I only get positive feedback. That's all
Right. I love the idea of criticism and feedback. Like, that all sounds really, and then it happens, and it's a different thing. So, and I see you nodding your head, Mrs. Bray, probably from your own experience and from Mr. Bray's experience, but just that environment of continued growth, ongoing, personal development, and a commitment to getting better and better. And sometimes, it's not about being patted on my back and being told I'm awesome. It's being held accountable. And I think that's a really powerful part, out of love and in a safe and respectful way, that the whole family can be involved in that. I think that's another powerful piece of the program.
I would agree. And the variances, and they're very little, but there are some nuances that are different from one instructor to the other. So what Mr. Pieper experienced with one instructor wasn't necessarily what he experienced with another. So that helped him grow and learn that there's different ways to do things, and you got to kind of come into it on your own, right? Still follow the general guideline and the principle of it. And so he's grown in that way as well.
I observe Mr. Pieper sometimes doing classes and things, and it's fun to watch, because if he sees that something's not going quite right, you just kind of see the wheels spinning, like, okay, I'm now going to try this instead. And not catching that. Oh, I'm going to do it this way instead. So all those different variances between instructors help in the long run, kind of makes you just a more well-rounded person, well-rounded instructor and teacher. Correct?
I would have to agree with that.
And I know, Mrs. Bray, your daughter, Ms. Bray, is part of our after school and summer camp team. So much like Ms. Cobb, her passion might not be right now. Who knows what the future holds, but right now it might not be taking classes or being an instructor, but man, she's really a rock star in our after school summer camp team. So you've got both of your kids working at Karate America. You must like the place because you're.
It's the joke I have. All my kids work at Karate America.
Just like bring them in through the front door and have them fill out their application, do their I-9.
Yes, and Miss Bray loves the after school and summer camp program. She's currently stepped away from it just because she has some commitments with high school, but she'll ask me each day, how are the kids? How are they doing? What's going on with so-and-so? It's very sweet that her heart is connected to them. So, and she'll be glad to come back for summer camp.
Yeah, we can't wait to have her back. I know she was in our training on Saturday, and it reminded me that Miss Bray was she 15?
Yes.
She's like 15 going on 33. She's a very mature young person. She's really impressive, as is Mr. Bray, but I was struck by that, the way she communicates and the way she holds herself. And that kind of brings me to one of the other things I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to hear what you all think about this, because this sits with me, that I think a lot of sports and activities, not all, but a lot, are sort of segregated with genders. Right. And so like girls do girl sports and boys do boys sports, I mean, especially when you get to high school and things like that. And what I've always really loved, and some of my family members that have come and watched classes and things like that from like me from other generations, they're like, this is so great that there are, these female role models out there. I mean, it's Mother's Day month, talking about women leaders, but I love that we have female instructors, not at our academy, but there are, female martial arts, Black uniforms, and school owners. And I love that the boys and the girls train together and look to each other as leaders. And that for me is important, not only for girls, I think, to have role models to look up to, but also for boys. I would think also for boys too, to see women and girls in these powerful leadership positions. So how does that sit with you, all being mothers of both boys and girls? I'm doing the math. Yeah, everybody's got boys and girls. But how does that sit with you? Have you ever thought about that, or what do you think of that?
I have not ever thought of that. I guess it's just been what it's been, right?
Yeah.
And I've never given it any thought. But I would say that it does give the kids a very kind of a global look at, it doesn't have to be the male versus female. Like in dodgeball, when we play the dodgeball game, hey, all bets are off. It was like, you're going down. And I think that's good overall for many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And even just even if we just look at the staff over the past several years, how it's evolved to include more female staff members, which is fantastic. And Miss Noss being out on the floor and having a strong voice there is great. It's great. Yeah.
Well, all right. I know everybody's been waiting for this, so I think it's about time. It is May the 4th. I think we are going to do a little bit of Star Wars trivia. Mrs. Cobb, are you are okay? Mrs. Peepers ready with the lightsaber. Hold on, I gotta get.
We're terrible at sound effects, but.
Oh, there you go, Miss Cobb.
All right, that was my high-tech music intro with the Cantina music. I couldn't figure out how to get it up on StreamYard. I don't think I can, so that was with my iPhone. And now, so this is how it's going to work, guys. So, and I have to just show you, before we head into the trivia for May the 4th, I did wear my vintage Star Wars t-shirt. So I have that. We see, Mrs. Bray, I think you had to switch positions, but I know you had some Yoda stuff behind you and a painting by Ms. Bray, which was awesome. Mrs. Peeper, you've got the poster there. You've got your
I do. There's the poster off of Mr. Peeper's wall.
And I'm about to make my mom really, really happy because she saved all my Star Wars stuff from the 70s. And so I dug out tonight my Star Wars read-along record collection. This is like circa 1980-ish, I think. This is one of the many thousands of things that my mom bought for me and stored for me over the years that I have. So brought that out tonight. Yeah, I still have the read along records in there. So if you guys ever want to have like an episode where we just do Star Wars read along records, we could probably do that. So just let me know in the comments. What's and some of them were like bling, and I think the Star Wars I think it might have been the lightsaber, like whoa. I think that's what. I know. On my Bee Gees record player.
We have to do another version. We have to do another session.
Yes.
I would like a PDF so that I could read along, please.
There you go. All right. So everybody at home, please play along. We'll bring up the questions here. Now I have, at the end, I'm going to give the websites from where I got these questions and the answers. So if anybody has a problem with any of the answers, I will give you the websites at the end. These are not my questions. I got these off of some Star Wars trivia websites. So if we have any like Poindexters that are pointing out how it's wrong, like I hear you, just please follow it up with the people that wrote the questions and the answers. All right. So get ready, get your fingers ready for your answers. Ready? We're just going to see, this is going to be first come, first serve. So number one question is, Darth Vader cuts off Luke's which hand? Type A for left, B for right. Darth Vader cuts off which of Luke's hand? His left hand or his right hand? Just in the comments, put A for left or B for right.
I don't know. I truly don't know.
I'm turning your page, Mrs. Cobb.
And we have Mr. Jury. I'm sorry, sir. The answer is actually B, right.
No, really?
True. Well, according to this website, don't come for me if you think that it was wrong, but that was the answer that I got off of this website I went to. Darth Vader actually cuts off Luke's right hand. All right, question number 2. You guys ready? Thank you, Mr. Jury, for playing. Keep it up, though. I love it. Who does R2 not carry a message for? Who does R2-D2 not carry a message for? Type A for Leia, B for Han, C for Luke. So we are on question 2, and we got Ms. Cloutier answering B, and that is correct.
Who was
Good
B?
job. He was, sorry, I got to go back here. Han Solo, yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, nice.
Han Solo. Okay, 1 Ms. Cloutier. Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, A, in his 30s, B, in his 20s. Type A for 30s, B for in his 20s. Mrs. Deacon, did you say 20s? Is that B? If you said 20s, that is correct. Yes. Yay, yeah. Mrs. Beacon, or Beacon. Mrs. Deacon. Good job, Mrs. Deacon. All right, it is 1 Cloutier, 1 Deacon. Come on, Mr. Jury. I know you can get, you're given the right answers. Just got a little quicker. All right, ready? This is a tough one. Hold on. What color lasers do the TIE fighters shoot? A for green, B for red, C for orange. What color lasers do the TIE fighters shoot? Green, red, orange. Ooh, it's getting competitive. TIE fighters, not to be confused with X-Wing fighters, you guys. These are TIE fighters.
Good distinction, Mrs. Quirk.
I'm trying to help out here all I can. Got a bunch of B's. That is incorrect.
Oh.
Mrs. Deacon coming on strong with the green. It is A. They shoot green. Yeah, the X-Wing fighters are red.
Ah.
Good job, Mrs. Deacon. She is now in the lead with 2. Okay. Han Solo obtains the rank of what during the Galactic Civil War? A, General, B, Commander, C, Admiral. During the Galactic War, what rank does Han Solo obtain? A, General, B, Commander, C, Admiral. Knights Productions. General, you are right. Whoever you might be, sir, ma'am. Woo! Knights Productions with 1. Nice, nice. All right, Mrs. Deacon is still in the lead. Which of these species names is never mentioned in the films? So which of these species names is never mentioned in the films? A for Ewoks, B for Wookiees, C for Jawas. Which of these species names are never mentioned in the films? Their names are never mentioned in the films. Mrs. Jury, did you answer A? Did you answer Ewoks? Yes, you are right. Mrs. Jury with 1.
Woo, Mrs. Jury.
Go, Mrs.
The
Jury.
new contender.
All right, next question. You guys ready? Here we go. How old was Padme when she became queen? A, 12, B, 14, C, 16. How old was Padme when she became queen? 12, 14, 16. I'm sorry, Mrs. Deacon, A is not correct. I'm sorry, Mr. Jury, 12 is not correct. Mrs. Jury, B is correct.
Ooh, ding, 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 ding.
You guys keeping score here? This is getting complex. All right, a couple more here. What is Admiral Ackbar's famous phrase? A, they're right on your tail. B, it's a trap. C, all engines warp speed. Admiral Ackbar's famous phrase. A, they're right on your tail. B, it's a trap. C, all engines warp speed. Mr. Jury, B, Mr. Jury with the win. It's a trap. Of course. It's a trap. Love Admiral Ackbar. Okay. Where were the Hoth sequences filmed? A, Norway, B, Iceland, C, Denmark, D, Greenland. Where were the Hoth sequences filmed? A, Norway, B, Iceland, C, Denmark, D, Greenland. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Deacon. It is not B. Any of you guys want to take a stab, guests?
D, Greenland.
Nope.
All right, I'll go for Norway. A.
Yay, Mrs. Bray. Mrs. Bray got one.
Complete
Mrs. Bray,
guess.
I know how passionate you are about the Hoth sequences.
I am.
In the Star Wars film, so there you go. There's your win for the night.
You are now.
You're a resident Hoth expert, which that will also be used against you at future holiday parties, I'm sure. Somehow. All right, second to the last question here, guys. What was the job that Finn told Han Solo he had at Star Killer Base? Pilot, sanitation, guard, chef. A for pilot, B for sanitation, C for guard, D for chef. What was the job Finn told Han Solo he had at Star Killer Base? Mr. Jury coming back strong with a B. You are right here. Sanitation. I think it's a tie now, right? We got Miss Cloutier, Mrs. Jury, Mrs. Deacon, and Mr. Jury all with 2. Am I right? I'm pretty sure.
I think you're correct.
Okay, so this is going to be, okay, this is really serious, guys. This is for the tiebreaker.
Nail biter. It's a nail biter.
I know.
It is.
Everybody listen, remember our purpose, remember our values. We're all going to stay friends after this no matter what happens, right? Who delivers the final blow that destroys the second Death Star? A, Han Solo with X-Wing. B, Luke Skywalker with a speeder. C, Jar Jar Binks with a Y-Wing. D, Lando Calrissian with the Millennium Falcon. It's supposed to be Falcon, not Falco.
Wow.
80s music is a different episode.
I'm looking at
Shut up,
that.
Paul.
Well played.
Who delivers the final blow that destroys the second Death Star? A, Han Solo with an X-Wing. B, Luke Skywalker with a speeder. C, Jar Jar Binks with a Y-Wing. D, Lando Calrissian with a Millennium Falcon. Who is it going to be? And it's Mrs. Jury. D for the win. It was Lando Calrissian, Millennium Falcon. Good job, Mrs. Jury. You are our Star Wars winner for the night.
Nicely done.
Any kind of like acceptance speech words you have, go ahead and put them in the comments. Please don't gloat over your team members. And no hard feelings if you didn't win tonight, but we'll try to get something special for you at your next time that you're in at KA, Mrs. Jury. But good work tonight.
Nicely done. Round of applause.
Well done.
Nicely done. Well played, everybody. So that was on topic, off topic, because we're doing Mother's Day, we're doing Mother's Experience with Karate America, and we're doing Star Wars. But I think we pulled it together, guys. So, and did you learn something, especially you, Mrs. Cobb? I know you said that you were not the biggest Star Wars person. So,
Well, I don't know what the answer to that last question was, but I like their name.
Lando Calrissian, that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, Millennium Falcon. Yeah, that was cool.
Or Millennium Falcon. Mrs. Jury says she's upset because she's not a huge fan. That's how it always happens.
Oh, right.
Like the person who's like, what? I'm new at this. And they like come in and clean up on all the pro card sharks.
The tides are turning.
She's a ringer. I don't know. She's probably been studying, Mr. Jury. All right. Well, we are at the end of our hour, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I had fun tonight. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. Thank you for coming with all of your Star Wars accoutrement. Thank you for being a part of the live stream tonight. So before we close out, any of you, Mrs. Pieper, Mrs. Bray, Mrs. Cobb, if any moms, any parents out there are hesitating either to get their son or daughter involved or for themselves to come and train for free in May and June, what advice would you give them?
Do it.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Not gonna hurt. Take things at your own pace, and it's very friendly, very friendly.
Very friendly, very welcoming. Well, we try, and our purpose is we inspire people to believe in themselves. And thank you for joining us tonight for our live stream. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Karate America Community, please do so. We will see you back here next week, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much to all of our guests tonight. You made the episode a lot of fun, and I hope that we reached a lot of people and can change even more people's lives and inspire them to believe in themselves. And so until next time, guys, we're signing off for the night. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. We will see you next week.